you said that the Supreme Court situation has to be resolved,
Mm-hmm.
and that the passion of the Supreme Court problem
Yeah.
has to be resolved, and you compared it to the U.S. Supreme Court and how they're the least passionate part of government. Are you indicating that you're open to changing the Constitution and having an appointed Supreme Court?
I think it's worth looking at. I mean, well, two things. One, I think part of it may be implicitly the process. People get worked up and excited about elections. But I also think that aside, there are other states that have elected as well as appointed, and they don't have some of the passions that we've seen here in the state Supreme Court. So part of it is there's got to be some conflict resolution that has to be dealt with no matter whether they're appointed or elected. But I think you're right, long term, that's worth looking at.
And have your folks looked into it sounds like if the Dane County Sheriff is getting involved, that there's an investigation of an assault or a criminal type situation. Have you looked into what that means if the head of, or one of the 7 heads of the justice system is being investigated for a crime? Have your folks looked into that?
We haven't looked at what the ramifications are other than obviously just learning of that. We want to get up to speed as to what they're doing and what the time frame is in that regard.
Has the Capitol Police interviewed each justice?
I do not know.
I want to go back to George's question for a second. Have you had conversations with others about going to an appointed Supreme
No.
Court?
Well, other than another editorial board asked me about it today.
Okay.
But I mean, I've talked about it before and said,
I mean formal conversation.
yeah, I haven't made an announcement or anything like that. I just think it's worth looking at.
Okay.
Have you talked to Justice Process?
No, I have not.
You've known him for a long time. Do you think he has a temper problem?
I mean, I knew him from when he was in the legislature. I haven't talked to him much during the time he was on the Supreme Court. So I don't know
From
what.
your time in the legislature, did you see that?
He gave passionate speeches, but I don't know that warrants a.
He didn't choke you.
Yeah. He didn't even choke me up, but
Either way.
yeah. But it's I mean, that's one of those where, on one hand, it would be surprising, but on the other hand, again, until we hear from law enforcement involved with this, I'm not going to prejudge either in terms of believing that the story is accurate or dismissing it either. I mean, I think we need to know the facts.
But you said earlier that it's been around for a while, those personal tensions.
Oh, the passion, not just
Does
with
the
that.
Chief Justice bear any responsibility for that?
I don't know what all the factors are, but I just know we've routinely heard issues about justices on grumbling more personnel issues, and again, I don't know what the right answer is for that. That's one where I am at best a casual observer of the Supreme Court over the years. So, from afar, I think it's really unfair for me to judge as to who may or may not be responsible for that.
Is this the most dysfunctional you've seen the court, though? You've been
Yeah.
around 25 years.
Yeah. I mean, you've seen glimpses, like I said, when Judge Spavlich was there, he got pretty worked up about it. You've seen moments like that. But I think in general, and again, it's not to say that everybody's got to be on the same belief or the same ideological stance or even the same judicial point of view. But personally, there's just got to be a way. I mean, when Diane Sykes was on the bench, she's generally viewed as a conservative, but got along fairly well with all the other members of the court. So it's not just one view versus the other view.